How's it going, everybody? It's your boy, and it's time for another video. This time is, as the title says, about dog whistling. Now, what is dog whistling? Well, you see, there's the layman's term, the usual term that everybody knows what a dog whistle or to dog whistle is, which is to get a whistle that is beyond the capacity of the human ear to hear, to call dogs, because they can hear it, because they have better hearing than us. That is normal dog whistling. And then there's, of course, the political version of dog whistling, the metaphor, the turn of phrase, the idiom. Now, basically what people mean by dog whistling is that a group, usually the example these days are, of course, fascists, Nazis, extreme right-wingers, although, let's be honest, anybody can hide anything they really want to say through use of euphemisms and metaphors, but this is the example we're going with because this is the thing that is all the rage. So basically, they will hide what they truly mean by quoting it within different words with euphemisms. So say, for example, a fascist says he wants to promote white supremacy. He can't say that because he'll out himself as a white supremacist or a fascist. So he has to quote it in different words. So he'll say, I just want to protect Western culture. It comes across as just, oh, he wants to protect Western values and culture like democracy and freedom of speech. But of course, he doesn't actually mean that. And he's actually trying to talk to people of his own cult, his own side, so that they know what he's speaking about. Or maybe people who are slightly sympathetic or get what he's trying to say. I don't understand why he would have to only go for these certain people. I don't understand why he would have to cope the language to such an extent that most people who are neutral that he's trying to go after won't get it. But I guess the fact is that if they don't get it and they search this guy out, or maybe they go and talk to him and he brainwashes them, maybe that's what it is. It's essentially a slippery slope. They hear these words, they get attracted, and then they go down the path of oblivion. I don't know. That's what it means. That's what it's generally used for, but as we know, the word itself, especially when it's used by the anti-tribalists like ContraPoints, as you've probably seen in Dr. Anakam's video, yeah, it's anything but used for that purpose. Essentially, it is used to just completely disregard anything that anybody says before they've even said it, because essentially, they don't want to take you at face value because you could potentially be a fascist. And that's exactly what a fascist would do. Not say they're a fascist. Disregarding context, of course. And it's a great way to express those paranoid sentiments to fuel witch hunts. That's what it's for. Because it's a good way for them to essentially label anybody they disagree with as fascists or whoever. It doesn't matter. Anybody can use dog whistling to say, if you do not say these certain things, if you say these certain things, chances are you are this person that we dislike, this ideology that we dislike and must be eradicated. Now the thing is, they're right. Obviously there are people out there who are fascists who are pretending not to be fascists. We've seen it time and time again. Like for example, the British Nationalist Party. They would always quote their words in euphemisms to try and pretend to be something that they're not. But in many ways, they were trying to make themselves more palatable to the British public rather than really hiding their true intentions. We knew what they meant, they knew what they meant, and it's not so underhanded as people like David Sherratt and ContraPoints would have you believe. They're just trying to be palatable. Then of course you might have people like Edgy Sphinx, but then again, he just outright lied about who he was. He just pretended to be something he wasn't in order to bring more people into his ideology, and besides, he just loves LARPing as a white guy, so let him do what he wants to do. And even then, he's now honest about what he's doing. And if he was just honest in the first place about what he was, nobody would have a problem with him. Or at least didn't have a problem with him at the time. So yeah, they've got legitimate reasons to look out for dog whistling. But then you can say that, well, they dog whistle because feminists will say, we're not female supremacists. We just agree with equal rights while they take away men's rights. So just parental rights has just gone down the drain. You can easily accuse the extreme left of doing the exact same thing, and they probably have done the exact same thing for years and years and years and have not been called out for it because they'd rather project their own dog whistling onto the right. But the problem is then when people legitimately want to preserve Western culture, they don't want to espouse this white nationalist, white supremacist sentiment, they literally just want to preserve the rights and the culture that they feel is being eroded in some way. It doesn't matter if it's through outside interference or people trying to change it for the worse. Because as we know, too much conservatism, you don't progress at all. And too much progression, you might as well progress into a pit where you will fall into and you will never get yourself back out. Everything in moderation, right? Well, those people are then going to be labelled as something that they're not, and it enables these extremists to potentially just hand wave anybody that they don't like as fascists or just not take their points. Ultimately, it feels like a fallacy. They should name a fallacy after this if it's not labelled a fallacy already, the dog whistling fallacy, because essentially this is what it is. They will just accuse you in an argument of dog whistling, or will say, oh, these people are dog whistling, when it's not actually an argument. They're just accusing you of saying something that you're not. And they can just then say, oh, well, how do we know you're telling the truth? You could be a liar. They can just disregard your opinions. It's basically what they do when they're not blocking you. Ultimately, if the now newly coined alt-left, which by the way aren't the alt-left that originally formed, you should watch Prince of Queen's videos on that. If they want to defeat the alt-right in debate and win the intellectual battle, in fact, if we're going to do the same thing, the moderates, if we're going to do the same thing, we've got to stop using dog whistling too much, because essentially it's going to boil down to just hand-waving people's opinions away and not being able to trust people. We won't be able to take people at face value. And let's be honest, most people are not going to be lying about what they're saying. So we really shouldn't be doing that. And just maybe things might get a bit better, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just somebody who's trying to be a bit too reasonable here, so I might as well end the video. Anyway guys, sorry I look very orange in this video and not the usual colour that you expect. My bulb went out and I've had to improvise and buy something else for now. And also my other light is slowly but surely dimming, so I really can't do much about that, but that will be fixed in the coming weeks. So anyway, until next time, it's been your boy Mitch and I'll see you later.